Y'all, I swear, the reason why I have the worst time keeping these minis underweight is because all they do is eat. I have to do the food control portioning. And then you have your Rex babies that are like, Mama, I'm full. And they have barely touched their pellet for the night. Like, come on guys, I need you to be chunky and huge. For shame, queen and princess, for shame. I just wanted to show off Freddie and Mercury here. As you can see, their silvering is starting to come in on their bodies. We still have quite a bit of masking over the face. You can see it better on this baby here who's real close. And basically what I'm saying is that their heads don't have much silvering yet. As you see with this adult silver fox here, he has silvering all over his face. And that's kind of the last thing that'll get color on it as they get older. So during the winter, when it comes to rabbits, we have never felt the need to bring them all inside. The worst we've had it here is negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit, and we were having a blizzard. I woke up, there was snow up to my thighs. And that time at the barn, we had 2 litters of newborn bunnies and everyone was fine. But they live in a barn and we have a very cold, resilient breeds. So when it comes to the winter, nah, they're fine. Now, in the summer, I worry just because of how warm it gets. I say that as a place that it normally stays below 80. But if I see that it's getting consecutively above 80 for multiple days in a row, and it's not dropping low enough in the evening to give them a break, I will happily grab all the cages and move them into the garage. In the garage, it normally stays about 60 to 65 year-round. Sometimes in the winter, when it gets really, really cold outside, it'll drop down to 50. But in the summer, it is like the cool, safe zone for the rabbits if we need it. But if y'all go through my TikToks from last year, you will see where we just got buckets and buckets and buckets of snow. And it's almost winter time. I am not excited for it. For those of you who don't know, this is my 5-year-old's pet bunny, Gigi. He weighs a whopping 3 pounds, 12 ounces. He is a menace to society, and he is always ready to get into everything. With that being said, I am the one who chose this rabbit for my daughter as a pet. And the reason I did this was because I knew what she needed and what would work for her as a very young child as a first-time pet. Not to mention I, as the adult, would do most of the caretaking, at least until she is reliable enough to care for this rabbit on her own. She's gotten really good when it comes to feeding and watering him every day, but when it comes to things like nail clippings, I'm the one who takes care of it. It's my responsibility as the parent to make sure that this rabbit is taken care of. With that being said, though, in the future, when Gigi does come to his end of life in the next 8 to 10 years, it will be up to her to find a replacement for him because she at that point will know what she needs as a pet. A bit of a pro tip when it comes to babies that are about 2 weeks old that are starting to jump out of the nesting box but can't necessarily get back in. So when you flip it on the side and they can get out, but you're worried about them freezing at night, what you can do is you can get hay and stuff it in the front, like this. That way the babies stay nice and warm, they can't get out on the wire, and you just feel less anxious about them freezing overnight because it's so cold. Also, when it comes to our smaller breeds like our mini Rex, I like putting a little bit of hay down at first just so they get a bit better grip on the wire until their feet get a little bit larger. That can also be achieved with getting these little resting mats, but for the itty bitty babies, I like the hay better. Say hi to Cookie! When it comes to mini Rex, you almost have to use the dwarf gene because that's what makes them so small. If you don't know the history of the mini Rex, in the mid-1900s, what happened was somebody took a Netherland dwarf and bred it to a Rex. Basically, they took a dwarf rabbit and introduced the gene into a Rex to get a smaller version of the Rex. Basically, they wanted the fur and the personality type of a Rex, but they wanted that smallness of a Netherland dwarf. So, these are my minis, right? Tiny, cute. That one, 4 pounds, full grown, compared to my Rex, which is 9 pounds. And she's just a baby. and still has about another 3 months to where she could easily grow, and who knows what she'll do as an adult. I have some Recs that continue to grow and pack on pounds even as they get older and older. My largest Recs get about 12 pounds. So the way I run my program to avoid double dwarfs is I will take a true dwarf, like Solstice, so she holds 1 dwarf gene, and I will breed her to our buck Strawberry. So the idea is you're only working with 1 dwarf gene to keep the rabbits small while avoiding peanuts as much as possible. Dwarfs, when it comes to breeding dwarf rabbits, is kind of important. Otherwise, they can revert back. And the thing I've noticed with mini Recs that revert back is they don't get huge like Recs. That would be too easy. That'd be too nice. They stay in this like weird range around 6-7 pounds and never get as large as true Recs. So yes, we do use the dwarf gene in our mini Recs program. I haven't seen this baby very often. I haven't really introduced her because she is very skitterish. Her name is Nina. She's from the same breeder I got Zeus, and she is here to help perfect our fur lines. And she still is not the most pleased with me, but that's okay because we are going to work on it, and we're just moving slow. So when it comes to your question, how to get your rabbit used to you. For the first couple of days I bring your rabbit home after I put them in their cage, I just let them do their thing. I don't really handle them much. I just feed, water, let them get used to me, my normal movements and sounds, and the routine that I have in place. Then, after some time has passed, I just do this right here where I keep my hand down, and I let them kind of come up to it if they want. Then as time passes on, I'll start feeding treats out of the hand, be it rolled oats, black oil sunflower seeds, strawberries, hay. Something that I find that the rabbit really, really likes. That way they associate me with their favorite treat and good things. Then we'll work on the petting stuff. And I'll just do for short periods, just petting and loving up on. And then once they get a little bit used to me, then I will work on picking them up. I find that most rabbits are pretty chill and they get used to you pretty quick. Nina is my exception to the rule just because she is such a scaredy cat, but she is an absolute beauty. So most of my interactions with her are just me petting her and loving up on her. And I just pick her up every once in a while just to get her used to it and just move on out from there. Which is completely different than my nincompoops in this cage, who they were born on the farm. I'm constantly picking and annoying them. So I do find that there is quite a big difference between hand-raised babies that you bring up yourself and rabbits that you bring in on the farm. Miss Daisy's getting jealous. Haha, you have fallen into my trap. Anything to talk about baby bunny confirmation. So this is the little doe. And it's important to keep in mind that this baby is only about 7-8 weeks old, so she still has a lot of filling in to do. She's not too bad on the top line. She's a little longer than I'd like in the shoulder, and it looks like she is pinched. But we'll see here as she gets a little bigger if maybe some of that rectifies itself. This little buck, though, is just a ball. And when I was handling him and kind of playing with him, he was just very round, and I really like him. So I might keep him around and just see if he does really well growing out. With that being said, I'm not sure if I would keep him to breed to his mother or maybe one of the other rabbits in our barn, just because I do have a replacement for Solstice in the form of Lulu. But yeah, pretty impressed with this little buck so far. So I have no clue why this time, but these minis are absolutely tiny. Like, they're 7 weeks old, they're almost to weaning age, and they are under a pound. And I swear to goodness, if that little solid black was a doe, I'd be keeping it, but it is a buck. And I already have a broken black for my replacement for Penguin when I want to replace her. But this is the reason I keep so many mini Recs. I really want to improve my size and my lines. I need smaller babies. And I am just so tempted to keep this tiny little monstrosity. Look how teeny tiny she is compared to the Champagne. And then even tinier compared to her mama. I'm just living for this litter. A question I get asked a lot is why we don't use litter boxes when it comes to a lot of our outdoor bunnies. And that's because we have rabbits like this. So this is Tati. She was supposed to have babies on Monday. 99% sure she isn't pregnant. But I always put in a nesting box just in case. And this nesting box has turned into her litter box. But a lot of these rabbits, even though they have a litter box, will sit there, pee, poop, and then lay in it. And with them doing this, it means that it could cause a whole lot of problems for the animal. They can get urine scalds, they can get sore hocks, they can cover themselves in all kinds of nasty, which can cause skin issues. Not to mention in the summer, if they're rolling around in it and they're peeing in this one spot where it can't drain, you have to worry about things like fly strike. So we personally don't like using litter boxes in the barn, especially when we have a catch pan underneath that we could clean out daily during the summer, so we don't have to worry about the flies getting too bad in here. If you are looking for something to get feet off of wires, these rest mats are great. They're very easy to sanitize, and they also allow pee and poo to fall through them. But when you do start bleaching them and cleaning them, they start turning odd colors, which can be a little weird if you don't like that. But they work kind of well, and they're really easy to sanitize. But I personally, for most of my rabbits, just prefer wire. Easy to clean, easy to sanitize, pee and poo falls out, good to go. Things you should avoid for flooring: any kind of carpets, blankets, anything a rabbit can chew that's going to get stuck in its guts. You want to avoid anything that they could potentially eat, because it can cause blockage and all kinds of other issues. That right, mamas? Unfortunately, I don't know of many people that cook with rabbit. Of course, I have a lot of friends and a lot of rabbitries that do, it's just we don't post often about it. I think because a lot of times we don't really think about posting it because it's just kind of our normal. Like, we eat rabbit like most people eat chicken or beef or pork. With that being said, I do have a playlist of recipes that is pinned to my page. You're more than welcome to check out. And if any of my friends want to tag themselves down below as people who have a lot of rabbit cooking videos or a playlist, they're more than welcome to. But something great about rabbit is if you have a recipe for chicken, you can substitute that rabbit out for it, and cooks almost identical to it as well. I'm also trying to be better about filming when I do cook rabbit, just so I have more recipes in my playlist that you can reference to. Our litter of Rex babies is officially 2 weeks old, and it is time to start going through them, making sure we have open eyes and that they are just about ready to start leaving the nest box. In this litter, we have some chinchillas, we have a broken chinchilla, we have a couple broken blacks, and we have this cute little solid black back here. But overall, some really nice looking babies, and these guys are really spicy, but they're also a really nice size for the age. So I'm really happy so far with this litter, and we'll see how they grow out and how they do in the upcoming weeks. This little broken chin back here is absolutely my favorite. He is the most spastic baby I've had in a long while. He is so spicy and I just love him. I think I'm going to name him Jalapeno.